Hail and well met, people. Good to see you here again. Today I'm going to do some shameless self-promotion of my own material, which of course is my newest book, the Bloodragon Chronicles Volume I, Living Steel. Now this book, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about it. It has absolutely pretty much nothing to do with any real politics. It's complete science fiction. I'm a science fiction writer. So don't expect any MGTOW or politics, in this particular volume. And the story is quite long and involved, and it has to be broken up into several volumes to try to get all the stuff in there. Um, Interestingly enough, all the fictional characters are based upon real fictional characters. That is to say, um, in the past, again, games I've played, role-playing games, these characters are based loosely on some of those characters. And I would say the only political motivations involved with this book um, come from mass migration into areas where people don't necessarily belong. So a big theme of the book is genocide, where races don't mutually get along, you know, um, extinct each other, you know. So as the hero was finding out, in the past, wars existed where humanoids existed on the planet and they were considered extinct. They were wiped out, and now they're making a resurgent. And as the story continues, they'll become more and more involved. These hordes of humanoids as they take over the humanoid lands. And one of the reasons for this is just the basic stupidity of humans who just seem to openly let people wander in and don't seem to really care, that these people want to rape and murder them. So perhaps there's some motivations there in the book itself. It's the only real political thing, somewhat quasi-political thing I can think of. Um, Other things that influence this book are YouTube channels, in particular Metatron, Lindy Beige, School of Gladiatoria, and there's some others just like them that they do the similar stuff. Can't remember them all, so if I missed you, I apologize. But they talk about things that you can and can't do with armor. I mean, how does armor work? How do weapons work? And these things are important for a writer because sometimes we have a story idea, but then you're like, well, how do I implement this? What can a guy do wearing full plate armor? Can a guy pull a long sword off of his back, which is pretty much impossible um, to do with a long sword? Things of this nature. I know as readers, viewers, when you hear stories about people who are doing ridiculous things, and you're like, this is not possible. Okay. I know for a fact because I practice this. I do some martial arts or I lift weights, whatever the case is, and the hero's doing this, and you're like, it kind of just ruins any type of believability. But for a combat scene, for there's got to have at least some plausibility of reality of something to kind of hold the fabric of the story together during the combat scene. And I got to say, the sword off the back, this is a real killer for me. So I've tried to get everything in the book as best as I can to be as accurate as far as combat. Of course, there's magic and stuff, which of course, the beauty of magic is the whatever device makes it possible. So, but if you like science fiction, you like high fantasy, you like orcs and goblins and this kind of thing, then I think you will like this book. This book is for you. Um, I have very unique storyline. That's my opinion. When I created the story, basically had to scrap any type of traditional magic or anything like that and come up with a whole new system of magic, um, a whole new reality. So it really doesn't borrow too much on other things in that regard. And I think that's what makes a novel. Makes it unique, is having that type of uniqueness added to your book. So um, certainly there's I jokingly refer to this. People ask me what the book is about, and I tell them it's Conan the Barbarian meets 50 Shades of Grey. You know, and the reason for this is some of the humanoids are they're very perverse. You know, and this is used to demonstrate the perversity of the humanoids and the way they think. Nothing against people who are into bondage, right? There's nothing to do with. It's not a reflection or criticism on people who like that or anything of that nature. It's just sort of meant to kind of reflect upon how these people think, the humanoids, and what they like to do, and you know, um, so it's very different. So I jokingly refer to Conan the Barbarian meets 50 Shades of Grey, and so definitely check my book out. It should be available here on e-format. I know most people don't really want to spend the money to get like a whole giant book shipped to them. I prefer a real book. That's what I prefer. But often I'm using stuff on my my Kindle thing, and it's okay. It's okay. It's not as good as having a real book, but it's certainly cheaper to get material that way, and what have you. So um, that's pretty much it. So once again, check my book out. Bloodragon Chronicles Volume I, Living Steel. The author is Paris Alexander Holmes, and you can get this at any of the major outlets, Amazon, Dalton, all those places. You can get them there. So check it out. And I look forward to hearing your thoughts on my book. All right. Well, thanks for watching, and may the Schwartz be with you. Right? Salute.